Soreness should not actually be one of your training goals. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I want to talk to you guys about this a little bit. And again, saying this as someone who coaches full-time, coaches people in a variety of disciplines. A lot of people get really obsessed with soreness, and they're like, oh, I want to get sore from a workout. Or they'll say things like, I'm sore from the last workout, so does that mean I shouldn't need to train? And the reality is neither one of those should be true. In other words, should we occasionally be sore from training? Sure. Should you potentially have a little soreness for training sometimes when you've increased workload slightly? Yeah, perfectly reasonable. But once you've been lifting for a little while, it shouldn't be something that happens after every single workout. Okay, so we need to be aware that once you're adapted to training, you're going to get sore occasionally. Maybe once a week something will get sore, particularly something that you trained maybe a hair harder, maybe a weak point that you're pushing harder because it's lagging behind, so you're doing more volume than your other body parts and things, and it's dealing with some novel training stress. Sure, absolutely, that may happen. And it can be a useful metric there a little bit, right? So let's say your biceps have been lagging or your hamstrings, and so you're giving them more volume than your other body parts because you're trying to get them caught up. Maybe you're trying some new exercises for them, so a novel training response, and then they get a little bit sore the next day. All right? Okay, we could take that as a positive thing, but are they so sore that it interferes with function? Then no, you've got a problem. That is something that happens to noobs. That is not something that should be happening 6 months after you've been lifting. Right? You should never be so sore from a leg day that you struggle to walk. You should never be so sore from your arm training that you struggle to brush your teeth. That is excessive and it's problematic. And it means that you've probably subjected them to something that is incorrect. So what sort of stuff actually causes people to get sore? Large increases in volume, doing way more volume than you're used to. Well, that makes sense why noobs get sore. If you're used to nearly zero volume, any volume is a massive increase. And even if you've been training something like, let's say you've been doing 3 sets of squats in a workout and you go to 4 sets of squats, yeah, that might actually make a novice lifter sore. Okay? So, novel training response. Training too infrequently can actually cause soreness. A little more common, people who only work a muscle once a week. Right? So if you're training with too much volume, that can cause soreness. If you're only training a muscle once a week, that might cause soreness. Taking a deload, like for me, when in the past I used to travel and I'd have to take sometimes a week off from training, and when I would come back, my hard normal workouts would cause me to get sore sometimes because my training frequency was too low, because it had been 7 days or something since I had trained that muscle, 8 days. So accordingly, yeah, I would get sore. All right. So now you can see already why people who have one leg day a week and they're trying to cram all their volume in there instead of something like an upper-lower split, done twice a week, and they're doing higher volumes for legs, well, guess what? Of course they're getting sore a little more often. Their training frequency is probably not ideal, and they're trying to push really high volumes to compensate for only training a muscle once a week instead of, twice, or in some cases 3. So that could be a factor, right? So the novel response, doing too much slow eccentric work can make you sore, which is, again, one reason I feel like people have over-exaggerated that. The data showing that it causes better muscle growth is actually very slim, right? Very, very slim. And we could debate whether there's any truth to it at all based upon the research and even the anecdote. But it does make you more sore. We know that it makes you sore. So because a lot of people then associate soreness with a good workout, they oftentimes, I think, make that correlation. So anything that's making me really sore, that must be great. Well, no, not necessarily the case. And again, it's oftentimes improper loading, increasing volume too fast, doing volumes you're not fully recovering from, right? Too infrequent of training. And actually, the funny thing is the repeat bout effect has been found to reduce soreness. So when guys are like, oh, I mean, I've got this program written, but I'm too sore. My chest is too sore from my Monday. I don't know if I should bench again on Thursday, even though I'm supposed to be doing it twice a week. It's like, well, no, actually, if you go train those same movement patterns again with similar loads, the soreness will usually dissipate. So when you look at it from that perspective, guess what? If you're sore and you train again, it may reduce the soreness. So we shouldn't be saying, hey, I'm sore, so I shouldn't train. But the other thing to think about, guys are like, well, I'm so sore, I don't think I can train without reducing the effectiveness. Well, if that's happening, it's time to step back and reassess your training, because something is clearly wrong with your programming. So let's say you're training your chest twice a week or your back twice a week, Monday and Thursday. If you're so sore from your Monday workout that you still hurt on Thursday, it's not that you need to skip the training day. You need to change what you're doing on the Monday, because it's clearly wrong. Like that is never a good thing. 3 full days of soreness is completely inappropriate. Right? For almost any level of training experience, it means you are doing too much total volume, or you're throwing in too many new exercises, or you're doing too many really slow eccentrics. Because that's also at a point to where your quality of life is suffering, and also your future workouts are suffering. And if you can't train frequently enough to maximize muscle growth, because the workout efficiency is being reduced because you're hurting, that's bad. You're going to get less gains. If it's reducing your quality of life, you're going to be less inclined to want to train. Okay? This is why people get so scared. It's why many guys don't want to do legs, because of leg day, that soreness. But it's like if they just trained with proper loads and at the proper frequency, that soreness really wouldn't be occurring to any large extent, and they wouldn't have this problem. But because it occurs, because again, low frequency, trying to do too much volume at once, doing silly stuff, inappropriate loading, inappropriate tempos, slow eccentrics, all these things. Because what do you see? A lot of guys will try to do the leg days, they want to do a bunch, and they do silly stuff. A bunch of rest pause stuff, or some guy helping them with force reps on a leg extension, and then they hurt. And then they don't want to train legs, as you see all the memes about it. So it actually encourages you not to train. It's not a good thing. And it doesn't improve your quality of life. Training should generally build us up, not tear us down. And I'm saying this as someone, you guys have watched me deadlift over 600 pounds quite a few times in my late 40s, right? I'm not afraid to move some big weight, but you shouldn't be walking around beat up from it. Again, this is not well-rounded training, and it's certainly not enhancing your quality of life. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.